Hello everyone, Manthral here, and welcome to kind of a little bit of a small series I'm going to be doing for the channel. This one is going to be covering different aspects of player-owned farms, and I know it might sound a little bit weird considering I am out in the middle of the Mortmire Swamp covering this, but what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be covering the different animals within player-owned farms, because I know there's been a lot of changes and there's a lot of uproar about some of these changes. Whether you like them or not, there is ways of, contacting Jaggeds, whether it be through the forums, their Discord, their Twitters. There is different means of method of communication with them if you so wish to speak your mind about whether you like or dislike these changes. However, for the time being, until it changes potentially, videos like this might actually help some people. So here we go into it. This is going to be for the Zygomites. Now, for some of you, this will make a lot more sense as to why I am here and covering the Zygomites, because the Zygomites only eat mushrooms. Now, with that comes a few drawbacks, especially because they do eat a lot more than they used to. However, there is ways around that, and ways that you do not have to use your bitter cap mushrooms, like your only mushroom plots, to feed them. And this right here is actually the best way to do this. And there's actually one monster I can think of offhand that drops actually a lot of these fungus, or a lot of these mushrooms. Well, fungus, yeah, essentially, yeah. And that is the gargoyles. So if you are big into wanting to do your player-owned farm, and you're a bit of a slayer person, maybe not high-end slayer, like you're not one that constantly wants to go for like the Calgarian demons and stuff like that. The stronger ones, really. But you do enjoy, some mild slayer. Gargoyles are relatively simple. You take some mage there, you can pretty much mop the floor with them, even at low levels. My character, when I was first able to fight them, granted, yeah, I did use the vampirism aura, but I was still able to hold my own even without it, especially whenever you get Ice Asylum. I know a lot of people it's like you'll be like, I don't need any food there at all, and for most people you probably won't, but my guy was using very bad armor for it, so I kind of had to. But anyway, they do drop the Mortmire fungus, and they actually drop it in noted form, and they actually drop it quite frequently and in modest amounts. There is another one you could actually go for now that I'm actually thinking of it, and that is the Ganordemic type beasts. There is a few as you get into the higher levels that you can actually get noted forms of the garage and mushrooms. So if you're able to fight the higher tier polypore dungeon areas, or even the polypore dungeon in general, you can actually start getting garage and mushrooms and using those as well. Mostly I see these two because other than herblore for this one, there's not really a whole lot of usage for these two mushrooms. I could be mistaken, and if I'm mistaken, please let me know in the description or in the comments below. But this is actually a very good way to also get the fungus. Now I know a lot of people are saying, well, I'm consuming a lot of Porter of the 5, which this is actually kind of true. I am consuming a lot of these, and I am consuming prayer potions, which I know that can actually be not so good to do, because if you are buying your stuff, of course, or if you can trade, you're kind of losing a little bit of money. But if you are going for farming XP, I would strongly recommend doing this for your Zygomites. because this will actually greatly increase their happiness and their health. Now, if you're just going for magic beans, you really don't have to do any of this. The only thing you would have to do for magic beans is just make sure you have them in the breeding pen. If they're outside of the breeding pen, granted, yeah, they can breed that way even at no food. At least in the breeding pen. That might be a bug or a glitch, but that's been my experience so far. But outside of the breeding pen, they do not seem to do that if there's no food. So it is something to, very well keep in mind. But inside the breeding pen, they still breed, so you can still get the sporelings that way. So there is methods of getting them, and they're actually very good for, farming XP as a whole. Probably one of the best ones to get for the medium level. Now, the Araxite or the spiders, they can be pretty good, but in all honesty, for most people, that's probably what you're going to go for because, well, if you can get the spiders, then you can do more damage against Araxor and Araxite. Araxor and Araxi, sorry. Araxite is their weaponry. But yeah, so those are things to keep in mind. And just, when it comes to the sporelings, just do this. You can actually have your Avidus Flail or your Silver Sickle, Blessed Silver Sickle, sorry, on your hotbar, and you can just press a key and it'll auto cast it like that, which makes this a lot easier. Now, I do have the Ouroboros pouch, that's why this is really not a big deal for me. So there is certain things to keep in mind. Now, if you could use really any tier of the Sign of the Porters you want or have, but also if you are siphoning from the Divine Simulacrum, you can get these for free. If you are pickpocketing from the Elves and Profundus, you can get them. So there is ways of getting them without actually having to spend money. And as you guys know as well as I know, when it comes to pickpocketing in the Elven City, it is painfully easy to do. And thieving has become painfully easy to train thanks to certain things like safe cracking. But that'll actually do it for this video. I thank you guys so much for watching. And until next time, later guys.